Well, hello there. This is Virtuals the Chess Noob, nerding and having fun with chess. Today I've got another game of the Englund Gambit, one of my favourite openings in chess, where I think it really demonstrates the potential power of a psychological approach to attacking chess. Now, before I show the game, I just wanted to sort of mention something because looking at sort of some of the comments around Englund Gambit, both on my channel but also on other blogs, I think there's a bit of a perspective out there that it's not a legitimate way to play chess, and I wanted to address that a little bit. So I think we need to sort of reflect and ask the question for ourselves: what do we get out of playing chess? What's our reason and purpose for playing? Now, I would say that if your goal is to try to improve so that you can become competitive in sort of over-the-board chess, like, to play serious chess, absolutely, Englund Gambit's probably not your best approach to play. However, if you are like me and your goal is really just to have fun, then I think it's actually important to realize at the beginner intermediate level, there are ways to have fun winning chess that's not necessarily based simply on accuracy. So let's have a look at this game. So Englund Gambit, of course, starts with white playing 1d4. And I have the black pieces, and Englund Gambit is the immediate e5. So immediately, challenging the center, it basically prevents the dreaded London, and I just really like this opening. It's immediately attacking chess. And one of these psychological things that happens when you attack relentlessly over and over again is that you can draw your opponent into a certain type of tunnel vision. You drag them into your tactical lines, your perspectives in the game. And that can be really powerful because it means that even when you play inaccurately, and this is an inaccurate game, you can nonetheless still win. And it often creates a very lovely, very interesting win. So white takes. So accepts a gambit, which is their best move. Knight attacks. They have to do something. Defend makes sense. Queen attacks. And here, the best move for white is actually to defend, to go down the main line, and then potentially we have a very sort of tricky move. Here, white decides to play a little bit more tentatively. And just to put into context, random chess noob, this was an unrated random game. So I had nothing to lose, so I was willing to play much more aggressively. So they play e3. Now, in the Englund Gambit, if you can capture back that pawn, you should do so. Takes, looking at each other, take, we take back, and already, here we're already back to 0, 0, 0. I have won back my point of material. I've got a little bit of a step of tempo in terms of development. Queen in the center, potentially two-edged sword, can be a target, but it's also in a very powerful position. White develops their knight, makes sense. Again, attacking, immediately pinning. So they try to unpin, that's fine. I just develop my other knight, ready potentially to castle. They develop a bishop as well in that position. That's a mistake because 1, 2, 1, 2, immediately attack the bishop. So that bishop, I think, probably should go back to one of these two squares, but they push that way. That's fine for me. It looks like they're going to castle kingside. What am I going to do? Attack, attack, attack. So I develop my bishop. Let's see which way I will potentially castle. They now short castle. And here I had a little bit of a think. Not a long think, just a little think. So let's immediately try a mate in one attack. So obviously they'll see that. You can see tricky move. This actually gives the advantage to white. But now by creating aggressive checkmate type threats, I am forcing white to put all their focus into defense. I am drawing the game down my lines, and I'm willing to sacrifice pieces. And one of the things with this particular way of playing, it's definitely unsound. It's also quite, it can be quite disorientating for the opponent, particularly once they realize you are willing to just sacrifice material. It's almost like a transgression against an unstated rule of the game, which is you need to hold on to your material. So if you're willing to just give up material, sacrifice pieces, it often leads white to feel, the opponent to feel just not sure what to do. And so this is what I'm willing to do. So clearly, this is not a good move because it's a little bit preemptive. They can block that, which they do. They find the best move. But now, queen to h5, mate threat yet again. Here they played the right move, attacking the knight. Now, logically here, when you look at this, looks like it's pinned. Best move would be knight back here, potentially with a trade of queens. However, I'm willing to sacrifice that knight for opening up that h5. So I'm going to leave that knight there, bring the bishop back. Now, that's not the most accurate move. So as I said, the most accurate move is clearly to bring the knight back. But what's my logic here? Once that opens, this pawn potentially becomes pinned to that square. It's not necessarily obvious, but again, once again, another mate in one threat. They take, that's fine, captures, attack on the queen, they have to move the queen, and here I want to dislodge that pawn, immediate g5. Again, it's inaccurate. Look at that. White's getting further and further ahead, and you will see white gets all the way to +10. But here, white is now completely focused on my attack. And it's an interesting way because I knew that they were going to do this. So I'm drawing them down into a tunnel vision, and to the point where I'm willing to deliberately play moves which I know are likely to be inaccurate, or definitely are inaccurate, should white step back and look a little bit more carefully. But this is part of this psychological approach. So they play this. That's a good move. Potentially, there's a check here. Knight also here. Very, very powerful. So that's the queen's knight developed. Jumping to d5, it's actually a really strong tactical theme. It's in my book, 50+2, Chess Quick Wins. I have a section about developing queen's knight to d5 and d4. However, I thought that white's eye will be on that pawn, or that attack on that pawn. So I thought, look, I'm just going to take. And no, that's obviously a mistake because white now has, straight up royal fork, but I thought they weren't going to see it, and they didn't. They just took that piece. I focused on that attack. Ostensibly, they were probably thinking there's got an attack there as well, but that knight is now pinned to the h2 square. Now, attacking queen, let's drop it back, stay on h2, keep vision on the h2 square, and now white, I think, pretty much just forgot. With that relentless attack, they probably thought that my attack was nerfed, technically true, and they thought they could probably do a counterattack, technically true, but not with that knight. Here, they played the knight back here. It's a blunder. They're probably thinking, that they've got that very, very nice fork there, but mate in 2. Can you see the mate? That's right. Queen to h2. Check. King forced to that square, and now bishop to g3, mate. Every square is now covered by the diagonal attackers, queen and the 2 bishops. Good game. GG. The big takeaway from this game is to not underestimate the importance of psychological tactics, especially at the beginner intermediate level. Accuracy is of course important, but think about the rationale and reason that you play. Is it just to play accurately, or do you want to have fun in your games? I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.